All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. I have previously in the last video showed you how to add a non-database project to AppHarbor. And really add isn't probably the best term. I should probably change this to deploy. All right, so I'm going to now attempt to deploy a database first ASP.NET project to AppHarbor. I have copied over a project, all right. I have brought it up in Visual Studio 2015 and run it to make sure that it works, just to show you, because I'm not trying to pull anything or buy you. There it was. This was the one with the students and enrollments. So there it is. I want to stop the run now. All right, and there it is. Whoops. There it is. Right there. It's called MVC Demo 2. All right. So we've got that. I stopped the run. I'm going to start. I've got AppHarbor running already. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call this JP Scott Student Database. Okay. All right. So again, that's the name that I gave it. I'm going to click Create New. There it is, right there. So I enter the new name, I click the Create New button. Now in this case, and this is just a previous one, I'm changing it, we will need the SQL Server AppHarbor add-on. How about we will need to add the SQL Server AppHarbor add-on. All right, because that's what we're about to do. Oops. All right, so we will click the add-on catalog link in the center of the screen. We probably still want to do a bunch of this stuff, so let me just add some blank lines here. So click the add-on catalog link. Which is basically right in the middle of the screen. All right. Arrow down to the SQL Server. Option in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Oops. Click the See More button. Click the Yocto Free Install button. Now under Installed Add-ons, you should have SQL Server. So you click the SQL Server icon. All right. That pops it up to the top of the screen. And then click the Go to SQL Server link. All right. When you do that, you get a something that looks like this, but go under the connection options. Oops. Go to the connection options that are basically in the center of the screen. Copy the following to, whatever. I'm just going to say to Notepad, but I'll put it in Notepad++. And how about that? So we want to copy A, the host name. We're going to use all this stuff later. So A, the host name. I'm going to literally just start a new thing here. So there's that. B, the username. And C, which we'll do in a minute, the password. All right. So there's that. Okay, so finally the password. Now, thanks to Evan Resnock, who managed to get this to work, and I'm kind of following his lead here, and I'm hoping I don't miss any steps as we're going through this. You'll know, because if I do this and it doesn't work, it's probably because I missed a step or two, and I'm not going to try to do that, of course. All right, so let's see. And again, the order in which I am doing this is probably not the same order we did it in class. The steps should be the same, but they may be in a little bit different order. It's not really and truly, that's not a big thing. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back to project, and I'm going to open the database in Server Explorer. All right. And again, you're watching me do this real time, so to speak. So there's that quotation one we just did. I don't need that anymore, so this is it. All right, so there's the database. Okay. And I'm going to click on the Connect to Database button. Again, I'm trying to be as complete as I can here. Click the Connect to Database button. Choose the following. For data source, change data source from that to this. Just this. So instead of it saying Microsoft Server database file, which I believe is the local client, we're going to be telling it to grab it from the actual server itself. All right. So we want to add this. This is going to be the server database. We're starting to connect it up now. We shouldn't have to put, let's see, the server name. In the server name, enter what we just added here for the server. So, under the server name, add the new server, which in my case, and this is a very big name, it's that. It should end always in this, s.sqlserver.sequelizer.com. All right, so you know you're putting the right one in there. Okay, next, we want to change, so that's the server name. Why didn't that go in there? There we go. All right. Go to authentication and change the authentication from Windows authentication to SQL Server authentication. All right. Add the username and password from the file where you have them. So add the username. And add the password. And you can also click the Save My Password button. So add username from AppHarbor. Add the password from AppHarbor, and again click the Save My Password checkbox. And finally, click the OK button. All right, this is the previous one I did. All right. So, we now should have a new database, and it should be the same name as our server name. Come on, would you please? There you go. So there it is. All right, so we're going to do something, but before we do this, all right, we want to go back to our original database, which mine is called RTC Entities MVC Demo 2. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to go back to the original, and that would be non-AppHarbor. database. Okay. Click on the Tables button. Tables folder, I guess, would be. Bring up each table one at a time by right mouse clicking on the table and choosing the, so I want to right mouse click on here and I want to choose the open table definition. Okay. Option. All right. For each table, copy the schema, which will be on the bottom of the page, or on the bottom of screen, however you want to say this. And I'm going to again say to Notepad++. All right, you watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to open up 3 files, 1, 2, 3 files. Each is empty. All right, so I'm going to go to this first one here. I'm going to grab this schema that's right there, copy it to the clipboard, and paste it in here. I'm going to pretty it up just a little bit. You don't have to do this. It should be fine like that. So that's the first one. All right. We don't want to save this, so I can immediately close it. And I'm going to bring up the next one and do the same thing. Open table definition. Should go a little faster after you do the first one. I'm going to grab again all of this. Again, copy to the clipboard. Again, throw it into my Notepad++ file. Again, do a little bit of work to pretty this up just a little bit. You don't have to pretty it up. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, do it your own way. All right. Let's see. Just putting this over several lines so that I can see it okay. There's the second table. All right. And then finally for the third one, so again, I don't need this, so I can close it. Right mouse click, open table definition. You can see there's a pattern emerging here. All right. Again, right mouse click. After I've done all that, click copy. Paste that in here. They all look fine. So again, I can close this. Now that I've done that, now I want to open up the other database. All right, so I want to open up my new AppHarbor database. And I want to right mouse click on the database name and choose new query. So right mouse click and choose new query. All right. You'll basically do this 3 times. You will do step 23 3 times, once for each table schema definition. Do not save any of the queries. All right. So I'm going to do this 3 times. I already right mouse click, so that I'm going to come in here and paste in my first one. And I want to look and just see. Okay, there's course. Okay, this refers to student. So it looks like I should do that one last, just to be safe. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is this course. Control A, Control C. Copy or paste that in and execute. So click the execute button and it should say commands completed successfully. So again, for each one of these, so after copying in the schema, click the green execute button. Or how about I do this? After copying in each schema, and again, we're doing those, remember, one at a time. And as I mentioned, do not save these queries because there's no need to do so. All right, so there's the first one. I come up here and it'll say, do you want to save it? No. Okay. I'm going to again right mouse click on here. I'm going to again use new query. It'll come up in just a second and be blank. I'm going to come in. So there, I've done my first one. I did that one. Next, I want to do the student. So again, I'm going to paste that one in. And again, I'm going to click the execute button. And I got commands completed successfully. I can close that because I don't need to save it. And then right mouse click one more time and choose new query. Again, my screen will go blank, so to speak. Come back in here, find the last one. Control A, Control C. Paste it in. Click the execute button. Commands completed successfully. All right, then I want to go back and right mouse click on my new database, choose refresh, check my tables and make sure I've got the 3 tables in there. All right, so when done with steps 23 through 25 above, all right, right mouse click on new database, choose refresh, verify that all tables have been added. All right, I just did that. All right. Next, we want to modify our config file. So I can again close this. Don't need to save it. Got all that in there. That's good. So I want to open up the root web.config file. Okay, and I want to go down and find the somewhere in here. I should have my connection string. There it is. Okay, I've got a default connection string, and I've got an RTC entities connection string. All right, so I want to find this. All right. In the root, open the root web.config file. Find the connection strings attribute. Comment. Oh, let's not even say that yet. Let's go back to this. Let's look at this. I want to see what's all in here. Come on. All right. So I'm going to, in my case, I'm going to comment out this first line. I think the one I do want. Looking in here, I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly. I'm having a brain fart in here right now because I am to the point where I want to go in and change my connection string file, but I believe what I have to do, I'm going to clean up a little bit of this. I don't need this file, so I'm going to close it, and I don't need to save it. Same with this one, and same with this one. All right. This is that information. I do need that. Okay, and this is where I'm working on. This is the one I did first. So I'm going to change this to deploy. It's really a long name, but file, save as. I'm going to actually save this one to my, this was the price quotation. And I'm going to call this exactly what it was. How to deploy a non-database app. ASP.NET project AppHarbor.text. Alright, I just have so much stuff open, it's getting hard for me to figure out what's going on here. That's for a different class. Okay. Alright. And I know that Evan said what we wanted to do was to find this right here. And we wanted to find the other one that was right here and remove everything between those. Rather than doing that, what I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to comment out both of these. All right. And then I want to go back to one of these I know worked. All right. So one of the ones I did in class the other day. So I'm going to find here. Of course, I don't look like I have it up here anymore. Like I said, I did one of these in class with a database, and that's what I'm looking for. Of course, I can't find it right now. It's probably under one of these two folders. hoping this was it, the MVC to do. All right. And I want to find the web.config. I want to open that. I want to look for my connection string. This was it. All right. So, in between these quotes, this is the, oops, that was interesting. In between these quotes, I want to go and put in all of this stuff that you see right here, but I'm going to change it so that it looks like, basically like what you see here. All right, I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. I'm going to go back into here, and I'm going to paste that in. All right, home. All right, so data source equals, this should be our server name. All right, so what I want to do is I want to grab our server name, which is here, copy that to the clipboard, and paste that in here. So there's our server name, there's a start. We want to change our ID so that it is our ID right here. And we want to change the password to our password. Now that should be everything. All right, Control A, Control C to copy. Now let's go back to our web.config, find that. What I'm going to do is literally for now just paste it in. Don't worry, I'm going to get an error there. That's fine. But I want to grab this file, or that line of code. Okay, that's what I want, is I want to bring this in. Let me grab this again. Control X. All right. Ding, 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 ding. And I want to go back and I want to find where I'm supposed to put this. Okay, so it's after this quote here, where it's got data source and all that other good stuff. I want to highlight all of this. Oops, that wasn't good. I'm just going to start removing this stuff until I get to the other quote. All right, now I want to paste this in, and hopefully it's got everything I need. Data source, where it's got our data source, user ID with our ID, and password with our password. All right, that should not be commented out, so that should be everything. All right. So, in other words, what I wanted to do next, after I brought up this file, I wanted to comment out, I should say first, let's say copy this line to another line, comment out original, in copy, change everything between the two ampersand quote to the AppHarbor host name, the AppHarbor user name, and the AppHarbor database name. Save the web.config file. Actually, you can save and you can also close. You shouldn't need that anymore. All right, now we're ready to go back to our project and start to assimilate some of this stuff that we did before. All right. So I guess I can go and do this repository URL. So let's go back into AppHarbor. All right. I'm going to back up here. I'm going to click the repository URL button, and I'm going to copy this, just like we did before. Not like that, but I'm going to copy this to the clipboard. Notice I just got tons of files open now. There it is. Okay. So I want to copy this link to the clipboard. Oh, there it is. Highlight this link and copy it to the clipboard. Okay. So I've done that. All right, now I'm ready to pick up on these steps here. 27, 28, 29, 30. So I want to open up my Git Bash. I can close this, as I mentioned. Make sure you saved. All right. So I'm going back to this was my MVC demo 2. And you'll notice there is no Git folder in here. So I'm going to right mouse click on this, and I'm going to choose Git Bash here. All right, and once I do that, and I do the git init, again, there's nothing in there yet, but there will be very shortly. Stretch that, make this bigger, stretch this out here. We're going to use quite a bit of this on the screen here, so I'm going to move and have it take up most of the screen. All right. So now it's just following those same steps. Git init, git add dot. And again, what I should see now in here, there's my Git folder. Git add dot. All right, I get my line feed errors here, which again, as I mentioned, is okay. All right. Git remote add AppHarbor. All right. Git remote add. I'm going to call this AppHarbor 3 because I've already got an AppHarbor and etc. And then I'm going to grab that URL. Copy it to the clipboard. Oops. And so git remote add AppHarbor 3, and I'm just literally throwing that thing in there now. Okay. Git remote add AppHarbor 3. This is just an arbitrary name we give it. And the link, the repository URL link. All right. Nothing else came back. I think that's okay. Now we want to do another git commit here, as we did earlier. So git commit, and let's call this student database AppHarbor build 01. All right. I'm hoping I'm not going to get any errors here. That'll have to be a 3. All right. Okay, Okay, no errors. That's always a fantastic sign. You can see the stuff that it was adding. All right, and I did run into some problems doing this before, so we're going to see. Now I want to do my git push, and it's AppHarbor 3 because that's what I called it up here, master. Why I keep bringing that up, I don't know. That's a great sign that I'm not getting any errors. All right, it's writing my stuff out now. Hopefully it's doing the deploy and the upload onto AppHarbor. Good. So I've gone through, to my knowledge, all of my Git steps. So I'm ready to go back to AppHarbor now and refresh the screen. Now I can go back to AppHarbor, go over to your applications, refresh the screen. Well, I guess I might have to bring mine back up again. What was that? Student database. There it is. All right. And I've refreshed the screen, so I'm going to, if the status is succeeded, click the deploy button. It is succeeded. So I should be able to click the deploy button, which says that basically it is queuing my thing for development. And if that works, if there is no deploy button, click the screen again. We did have the deploy button. All right, so we should see in a matter of moments, hopefully, our new URL out here, and hopefully it's going to work. So I'm going to click the go to your application. If it does come up with that new Genix thing, you can try to go back to this screen and give it a couple more minutes and then do it again, or you can just try to refresh the screen. All right, it's thinking about it. I am going to try to come in. I got to remember how to delete unneeded AppHarbor projects. How to delete an app. It's under settings. Okay, so I've got to find the settings link. All right. Well, looky here. Here's my app. Does my database work? If it comes back and it says application error, I don't know what to tell you because I followed all of the steps. To my knowledge, I did not miss anything. Now, if it does work, I won't have any records in there because I haven't put anything in yet. When I copied everything over, it was the schema. Great. So I can click Create New. I can add a new student. Let's put me in. This will be 12 dash, today is the 21st. All right, click Create. And there's my first record. I should be able to click Edit. And if I just wanted Jeff in there, for example, okay, click Save. Now that's back. Details. There's my details. All right, go back to list. If I did want to delete it, I could. I don't. I want something in there, so I'm just going to go back to list. All right, let's go back to home, and let's try our list of enrollments and create new. All right. Notice it's got for student ID, it's got my last name. For course ID, it's got nothing in there, so either that didn't come through or there's a problem, and I don't know what that is. But I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say this. The grade, I don't remember if these were numbers or not, so I'm going to try 4.00. The course ID, was hoping there'd be something in there, but I'm going to try to put here. It won't let me put anything. So evidently that did not come through. All right. So it's kind of a mixed bag here. I got it to work, but I guess only partially. All right, so what I'm doing is I've got this price quote, and included in there are all the steps that I showed you. So there they are. It's a little junky because it's in a different editor. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, which are all of these steps. All right, and I should put this last thing in here because this was the name of the project. All right. And this I'm going to call How to Deploy a Database First, ASP.NET project to AppHarbor. So I'm going to do a file, and I'm going to do a save as, and I'm going to put that in my desktop, and it was under MVC Demo 2, and I'm going to paste that in. .txt. All right, so there's that. All right, I don't think I have to save. Well, I can save this. That's fine. So this was the server name dash username dash password dot text file. All right. This was my file save as. I'm going to again save that to my desktop. MVC Demo 2, and I'm going to call this my web dot config dot txt. All right, and then finally I've got this, which had my change. All right, so I'm going to just call that. So again, file save as. And I'm going to call this my web dot config changes dot text. All right, so I'm going to save all those, and if people are interested, I can copy those to their clipboard or to their, I'm sorry, copy that to a if you want, I can copy that to a flash drive and let you make copies of it. Okay? So this was my attempt here, was to create for you both a non-database and a database app, plus give you all the steps that were necessary to go through. Hopefully I've done that. All right? Okay. And that's about it.